A couple things. Everyone who's signing on, I'd like you to put yourself on mute until you need to speak. And then the other thing is, if you're representing a project or, well, I guess that's the main thing, is to, in the chat, put your name and which project you're representing so that we can be sure and track that. We usually try to reorganize our agenda, but with 14 projects, I'm not sure that's really feasible for today. So maybe we can go in order. I'm not really sure.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my computer says it's 4 o'clock, so I'll open the regularly scheduled April meeting of the Jefferson County Planning Board, call that meeting to order, and I see we do have a quorum. 7 of us are present here for the meeting. We're outnumbered by members of the public this night. Okay. All right, so open the meeting. First order of business is the acceptance of the minutes of the March 29th meeting. I'll make a motion, or wait a minute, excuse me. Are there any questions or additions? Okay, I'll make a motion the minutes be accepted. Is there a second? Second by Cliff or John, either one. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, minutes are accepted. All right, so how do you want to work this, Andy? You want to take them in order? Some folks were here at the start of the meeting. Maybe we can take them, but you determine the meeting order that way. Okay.
Well, we have so many additional people. I'm not sure exactly who got here first and who's on second and so forth.
Okay, well then we'll take them in the order that they're shown on the sheet here. Okay.
Okay.
Do any members of the public want to address the board on anything other than agenda items? Okay. All right. We're still operating under the emergency procedures, aren't we, Andy, of having these meetings by Zoom meeting?
Yes, it's a Google Meet, and it is being recorded so that we can follow what's required. So anyone just signing on, we're sort of letting everyone know it is being recorded for legal purposes. And so Sarah comes up first on the agenda with the first 2 projects. So Sarah, you want to go ahead?
Okay, well, go ahead then, Sarah.
Sorry, I muted myself there. All right, can you hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me? Oh, sorry. Okay. Can you see the town of Adams location map?
Yes.
Okay. Let me try to figure out which one I'm doing here first. Okay. This is a site plan review for an addition to an existing gas station located at 10546 US Route 11 in the town of Adams. This is going to be Stewart's Ice Cream and Gas Station. Here we have Route 11 and Maxon Lane, and this is where the Stewart's is. You can see the surrounding land uses are predominantly residential and a little commercial across the road. This is a zoomed in aerial of the site. You have access off of Maxon and US Route 11. This is the canopy where the gas stations are. We reviewed this, I believe, for an overall site upgrade in 2017 when they did all these changes. Now they're here for some modifications to add an addition to the rear back here. And so in the rear, I'd say, oh wait, this is a Google image from Maxon looking at the site. And this is from Route 11 looking at the canopy and the store in the background. And this again is from that intersection looking at the whole place. We took this the other day. You can see the existing store. The addition is going to be in the back, kind of where my cursor is right now. Hopefully you can see that. So here we have the site. The orange is the existing store and the pink represents the proposed modifications, like there and towards the rear. In the rear, we have a 513 square foot addition. It's approximately 8.5 feet by 60 feet. And there's also an overhang addition right here. This is 6.5 feet approximately by 29 feet. There's new mechanical equipment back here. There's going to be a freezer condenser, 2 HVAC units, and a cooler condenser, and they're on concrete pads. On the other side, we have a new exterior closet proposed and a transformer switch and an electric meter. And then on the front of the store, we have a proposed propane exchange cage and a freestanding air pump right there. They're going to replace the sidewalk around the store, and there'll be 3 additional lights in the soffits to match the other lights. And there will be new exterior hardy board, like clapboard siding. The color is cobblestone, and there'll be a stone veneer in the lower portion. This is what you're going to see if you were coming from Watertown on the north elevation down here. That's what it looks like. Top picture is what it looks like now. The bottom picture is what it's going to look like. And here we have the west elevation, what you would see from Route 11, what is existing and what it's going to look like. You can see there in the back, there's the room addition. This is what it's going to look like from the east elevation, which would be closest to one of those residential homes. You can see the new electrical closet and some of the transformer switch and electrical meter, and you'd see the room addition in the back. And then this is what it'll look like from the south side, which is kind of near another residential unit. You can see this is the additions and this is the equipment, like the HVAC, VAC, and the new mechanical equipment. As far as comments, we said a building permit is required from Jefferson County codes. And for local comments, mechanical equipment will be added and or relocated to the rear of the proposed addition, making it closer to the adjoining residential units. The local board should consider requiring the applicant to construct a fence along the eastern property line and to maintain the existing vegetation in this area. Also, the location of the trash enclosure, if applicable, should be depicted on the site plan. It may require screening. And that is it. Do you have any questions on that one?
Andy, I got a question then. If we're going to do these in order, do we want to approve each one as we do it or wait till the end or what?
I'm not sure. I mean, we have representatives from quite a few of them. I'm not sure if it makes a difference. I guess it's up to you.
Well, if the people are here, I guess we ought to, approve it as we get to them. no sense making the person stay around until the end of the meeting.
Right.
Is there anybody?
Yeah, maybe it's easier
Is there
for
anybody
record
from
keeping to
Stewart's?
just do a motion each one.
Wait a minute. Sarah, is there anybody from Stewart's representing this project?
Not that I know of, but that's, I don't know.
Okay. Staff has made recommendation that this is a project of local concern only. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the project goes back to Stewart's then.
Okay,
All right.
the next one is also in the town of Adams. This is going to be a site plan review for additions to an existing business located at 12441 US Route 11. This business is called Detail This. It's a car detail shop. It is located on the west side of Route 11, just north of like Spook Hill Bar and Grill is down here. Then there's a storage facility here. It's across the road from Jefferson Court Mobile Home Park. The surrounding land uses include mostly commercial, the storage facility, recycling center, and then across the road, the residential. Just a little zoomed in picture of the detailing shop. This is what it looks like from Route 11. You have the main entrance out here. And a significant amount of asphalt paved out here. This again is the main entrance. We have a couple campers and boats hanging out there too. Okay, the site is zoned commercial 1, which allows automobile service stations and mini storage with site plan review. It's going to be modifications and additions to the Detail This shop and the addition of mini storage in the rear. So the proposed addition to Detail This includes a new showroom and additional automotive workspace. The showroom is right here. It's 40 feet by 43 feet for a total of 1720 square feet. And then the work area for the detailing is going to be 60 feet by 120 feet for a total of 7,200 square feet. The project would also include facade and roofing improvements to the existing building. There will be 2 mini storage buildings proposed to the rear of the property. They're each 150 feet long by 30 feet wide for a total of 4,500 square feet in each storage building. Each of the buildings contains exterior lights. Those are those little yellow dots. They say a monument sign is proposed out here. I'm not sure if that's already existing or not. There'll also be driveway and parking and stormwater improvements along with new lights and landscaping. The striped parking up here is on the asphalt. It consists of a total of 15 parking spaces. There's 2 dry swales, one here and one here, which will collect sheet flow from the site. And for landscaping, there are proposed trees in the southeast corner. There's 3 Skyline honey locust trees and 2 Cleveland select pears. There's an additional spaces for parking up here in the front, but they're not going to be striped. This could add another 35 spaces if needed. And circulation around the site is in both directions, pretty much everywhere. Gravel is proposed in the rear part by the storage facilities, and the rest is paved asphalt. This site is served by municipal water and a private sewer system. And the applicant submitted a traffic analysis stating that the expected increase in traffic will not adversely impact the area. For comments, we said a building permit is required from Jefferson County Code Department, and a stormwater pollution prevention plan, SWIP, is required since total land disturbance is greater than 1 acre. Any questions on that?
Okay. Staff has made recommendation again that this is a project of local concern only. I'll make that motion. For a second.
Second.
So George, okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That'll go back to the applicant in the town of Adams there. Okay, who's up for this one?
That would be me.
Okay, Alexandria Town.
Yes. Just trying to grab it. Okay. So this project is in the town of Alexandria, being proposed by Michael Shavasti, so otherwise known as Thousand Islands Country Club and Horizon Marine. They are, it exists now on Route 12, just outside the Alexandria Bay. And they're really just doing a subdivision, but we're seeing it because there's a few area variances required to do the subdivision. So that's the actual project. So this is the whole parcel here. Again, this is Route 12. And it should look familiar when we start zooming in. But these are the 3 buildings that are there, and they'll end up putting this into 3 lots.
Andy, all we're seeing is a town map there.
So it's not really working. Okay.
I'm still getting the town of Alexandria. There you go.
Okay, well, let me try this again. I'll do it again. Hold on a second. Okay, so what do you see now?
It's good.
The building the way it exists today.
Okay. So I'll go back to the aerial. So
Okay.
these are the buildings, and this larger property is going to be subdivided. And we're doing it because it's an area variance along Route 12. So this is a picture taken, I think, last week or the week before. I took pictures more recently, so this is a little bit more clear. But these are the 3 buildings here, here, and here. And that's the sign Horizon Marine. Then this is one of the older pictures. And this is the other side where it shows the drainage retention pond. So the site plan shows the 3 parcels they're going to end up creating. So lot 1 will be here along the frontage of Route 12. Lot 2 is in the middle between the 2 other lots. And then this is lot 3 to the rear. And so they need a rear yard variance for this building, which is the actual showroom. And then there's a mechanical building that part of it's going to cross the line. Then this building here will need a front yard setback and a side yard. And then lots 2 and 3 will need area variances for frontage, since they won't have frontage on 12. But this is an access easement that goes back all the way to lot 3. And so realistically, lots 1 and 2 have pretty good access right now. And then lot 3 will need to either maintain this easement or somehow make sure it'll be viable. So our comments are county and state comment. In reviewing the area variances, the local board should consider the benefit to the applicant as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the community using the 5 factors for an area variance as stated in New York State town law. Local comments, just noting that the local board should ensure the proposed lot 3 has adequate access consistent with the town subdivision law and New York State Town Law 280A. And 280A requires communities to determine whether adequate access exists. Normally, it exists because you're on a public road, but in this case, it's not. And so that's where it falls on the town to make that determination. And then the other note was the local board should clearly state which area variances are granted for each of the 3 lots, just so that it reflects in their minutes and so on. That's all I had with that one.
What was that section 280 you said there? They're creating 2 landlocked parcels there with only
Right. Yes. So it's just a part of state law that requires municipalities to make sure that each lot has adequate access. Oftentimes it relates to residences. They need to have adequate access for emergency vehicles and so on and so forth. So it's just a small section of town law that calls that out. So we usually try to cite that whenever we deal with landlocked parcels.
Wouldn't that be a flag lot?
I'm sorry?
Wouldn't that be a flag lot where you can?
Well, no. A flag lot would be if a small part of it would actually touch the state road here, but in this case, there's 3 separate lots.
Oh.
Maybe I didn't make that more clear enough, but
Well, their access
Yes,
road should be designed to whatever their town standard is, just in case.
well, I mean, it's not. They're not establishing a road. They're just doing an easement. So they're not proposing a road. They're not proposing really anything beyond this pavement here.
No.
So that's why I was saying they should determine the adequacy of that access. But I can add that they need to build a road. I mean, is that what you're suggesting they do?
Well, it's all right now, but maybe 25, 30 years from now, everything changes hands and somebody wants a road and wants it to become maybe a town road. And if they do anything at all, you might want to do it in the beginning.
Right. Yep, I can add that comment.
But that section 280 of the town law does allow this to happen.
Yes, if the local board evaluates the access and determines it to be adequate. It's kind of a judgment thing.
Yeah.
We don't recommend that it happen. I'm assuming in this case, this is like a commercial situation, so they may have some plans down the road for this. I just don't know. We can only react to what we're seeing. So.
Well, there must be some underlying purpose for doing this. Otherwise, why would you even bother?
Right. Well, oftentimes, in order to get financing for like a second mortgage or something, the property needs to stand on its own. So I think that's assuming that's what's happening is they're either separating the ownership or want to sell this one off or use financing to do something else. If you can't separate the equity, then it's hard to do that. So I'm guessing that's what it relates to.
Well, I hope their board knows what they're doing with it.
Yeah.
Ditto, Dave, ditto.
Say, I guess all you can say is we, reluctantly, it's a project of local concern, but, that we reluctantly advise them that they should probably make better plans for access to those 2 lots.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on this one?
Nope.
Okay, again, staff has made recommendation that this is a local concern only. I'll make that motion. For second, someplace.
Second,
Second by-
Lisa.
Okay, John. Okay, moving right along. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, now this next one is two applications by the same people, right, Andy?
Yes,
4 and
it's
5.
yes, it's a special use permit and also an area variance.
Okay, well, can we take those as one project then?
I think so. Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a proposal by Carnegie Bay Marina. Their representative is on the call as well, Mike Lassell with MBL Engineering. And I did receive some email and written correspondence regarding the project. And I don't really see how I could read all the letters, but I'd say the brief summary of it is that they were from neighboring residences or residents, and they are in opposition to the project is a fair way to summarize it. Now, some of the letters were written when the project involved 14 RV sites, but what we are seeing is a proposal to add 5 RV sites to an existing marina. So, but I think I would assume that they would still probably object to the project, but I don't know.
Andy,
I can add to that if we want to
Andy,
hear more about the letters.
Could you quickly characterize some of the comments that were initially sent in letters? Roughly, what were they complaining? Too close to property lines and adjacent neighbors?
Yes. So the variance is for usually campgrounds are required to be setbacks 200 feet from any property lines. In this case, they're 50 feet from one of the side yards. So that neighbor is, I would consider to be quite close to the project. And then other residents are not very far away as well. So they're objecting to granting the variance. But then others are citing noise and lighting. I guess there's been RVs there in the past couple years, so they don't feel like it's been handled all that well from the town. The town, I guess, isn't following the standards of the RV park or the campgrounds that they have adopted as part of their zoning. So they're citing some of those issues as well.
Do you have a better map or picture of what the actual?
Yeah. So here's the project location. This is Carnegie Bay Marina. So you come in on Carnegie Bay Road, and then the entrance is here. So the RV sites will be in this location here. And these are the homes that surround it here. I mean, it's mostly all residential around it, except for this might be the town highway operation or something. There's some other things back here, but these are all homes. And this is these are apartments over here. This is a house. I would say that it's surrounded by homes. Here's a zoomed in aerial of the project. And again, so this is a marina. These are where the RV sites are going to be. These are the homes that I was mentioning. And let's see. So I took pictures of, this is the access from Carnegie Bay Road, and this is a neighboring house. So, I mean, everything is quite visible right now. And it slopes down toward the water, but so this is be the entrance for where the RVs would come. And I took this photo across Carnegie Bay, which shows, you know, again, the proximity of one of the houses and then other houses in the area. But this is the marina, or part of it. Then I zoomed in on this area where the RVs are proposed to be placed in this area here. So here's the site plan submitted. Again, so you got the entrance coming off of Carnegie Bay Road, and these are the 5 RV site locations. This shows the 50-foot setback that they're going to meet from the side yard or property line, but they're supposed to be 200 feet. And then this is the other side of the property. So if you followed the 200 feet setback, you kind of have RVs in this area generally. And so, you know, maybe that interferes with the marina operation. But you can see there's some buffering proposed here, which it looks like it's off the property. I mean, maybe they're going to work with Mr. Smith over here. I'm not sure exactly, but that's going to be a comment. There's an existing bathhouse here, which the RVs will use. This is a dump station located here, which I assume the RVs will use as well. They're supposed to have water and electric hookups. I wasn't sure if these circles were those things. They weren't labeled on the site plan. But as you can see, I tried to outline the traffic circulation, parking areas, and so on, but I didn't see how or where they would be accessing the site. But this doesn't exactly show all the gravel that's there now. I mean, this background image is older than that. So can I move on to the comments?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so again, we're seeing the special use permit for the RV sites as well as the area variance to go to 50 feet setback away from the property line instead of the 200-foot required. So we've got the two staff reports. So the first one I'm going to go over is the special use permit. And the New York State Department of Health permit is required for campgrounds, and I'm told that's for five RV sites and more than that. So we're sort of under that or in that threshold. We're saying under local that the local board should request more information about the RV site area. For example, what appears to be an outline of the vehicular travel area does not clearly show the vehicle flow to and from the RV site. Also, whether grass or plantings will be added to the area versus the existing gravel. Thirdly, drainage facilities or water service and electric hookup locations are not labeled or clearly indicated on the site plan. The town's campground standards also require densely planted trees and shrubs along property lines. So they should be provided where needed. A stockade fence could also be used to ensure effective screening and buffering occurs for adjacent residences. Right now on the site plan, it's indicated that in this area, it'll be a chain link fence, which in my mind doesn't really provide a screen. So that's, I'm sort of commenting on that. According to the site plan, it appears the proposed plantings will be on the adjacent property. An agreement for maintenance should be established. The local board should request drainage facilities be shown and include specifications to determine their adequacy. The local board should determine whether additional lighting is proposed or permitted. If anticipated, shielded lighting fixtures should be utilized to protect adjacent residential properties from glare. Similarly, quiet hours, similar to state parks or other campgrounds, could be established to limit noise impacts on residential neighbors. And then regarding the area variance, again, similar to the other project. In reviewing the area variance, the local board should consider the benefit to the applicant as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the community using the 5 factors for an area variance as stated in New York State town law. And then the last local comment, town campground standards require setbacks of 55 feet from street lines and 200 feet from other property lines. The applicant proposes RV sites 50 feet from the side yard, consisting of a 75% setback reduction. The local board can consider requiring a setback greater than 50 feet requested to mitigate impacts on the adjacent properties. So those were the issues we identified as a staff. And we've got Mike LaSalle, he's a project representative engineer. And then we have some neighbors on the call as well. So I'll let you take it from there, David.
Okay. Well, all right. Is the applicant going to make some comments, Ms. LaSalle? Anybody there from the applicant? How about the public?
Yes, this is Paul Smith. I'm the neighbor on the house that has the 398 feet of frontage or shares the site. Obviously, this screening just recently came up that they proposed. There is absolutely no reason that they cannot. They can meet the setback if they want to. If you see the one house, they have room to put RVs in there, and they have room on the one. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6 finger, they can put an RV and have 3 to 5 there. So there's no reason that they can't meet the setback. And I've been after this for screening, drainage issues, and the current RVs for about 3 years. And they had a letter from my lawyer about 1.5 years ago. They asked to negotiate and see if they could get some of these things through. Until recently, they have really come around where I've seen drawings where this is actually going to happen when they put this proposal in. And all the people that were against the 14 RVs are still against the 5, which we have probably upwards of 25 to 30 signatures of all neighbors in surrounding areas. I think Lily Jeanette is also on the line. I have trailers. I have all kinds of stuff within the 50 feet, and there is nothing on these drawings to keep the RVs from even less than 50 feet. And that first RV station is exactly 50 feet or a little less. The people can actually park on the right of that, closer to my property line. So there's a lot of things with this. I just want to protect my investment, and I want to see them go by the zoning rule. There's no reason they don't have they cannot go against the zoning rules. And part of it is the people that own the property have townhomes across. I think they'd rather have them in my line of sight, not their line of sight. There's no reason they can't be moved out those 200 feet.
Mike LaSalle is on now. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know why my microphone wasn't working, but can you hear me now, Andy, in the board?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
we can
great.
hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. It's Mike LaSalle with MBL Engineering. Thank you, Paul. We have met with Paul on site, and this is seeing that a lot of the screening much higher. It would just tie the parking lot in general, which I believe with the 8-foot to 10-foot screening that we show, we did a good job in terms of being able to completely hide that front parking lot area from his house and deck. The chain link fence was a request by him in terms of just a more of a property barrier. So we do show a vinyl fence along the sidewalk, barricade where you can't see through it, where there's no chance to put trees along the waterfront. But then as soon as we get back off the sidewalk area, we did plant it pretty substantially all the way back to the backside of his garage. And so to help understand a little bit more, that whole area is a large parking lot at the moment. So the RVs, when they pull in, that's a loading dock or a boat ramp straight ahead when you're pulling down the road. And then they turn to the right to park in front of slips, which is what the purpose of these RVs are for. Is the people, we have 4 today that, and the owner did go in front of the town to ask for a temporary RV permit. That's what happened the past year. They did go and get a temporary permit. The town issued just a temporary RV site permit less than 30 days. So that's why they've seen RV sites there. It was allowed 4. We went up to 4 because 5 triggers Department of Health. Since last year, it did work well for them to have the 4 sites there for a supplemental person to have their RV when they're at their boat. So we've decided to obviously approach the board and go in and get it official. And there was an extra space there. So we said add 5, go to Department of Health after getting the board approval. So we obviously want to work with Paul. The problem with kicking it over 200 feet, the only spot it is right in front of the boat ramp. I cannot get 200 feet completely from the apartment side either. So we're kind of split right in front of the boat ramp. That was, again, this is an existing marina that was approved back in, I think, the 2005, 2006 era. And the Johnsons have put quite a bit of money into it since then to get it back in operational condition. And these RVs came about where some of the boaters had an RV and they wanted to be able to utilize their RV at the marina. And that's kind of what's happened. So currently there is power and electric to the 4 RV sites that are right in front there that we did as the temporary thing. And we can add those onto the drawings and provide those obviously to the town and to the county for further look. But what I want to continue to work with Paul, and I thought Paul and I had some good on-site meetings to go through the screening. I think in regards to the RVs versus the marina, it is a residential zone. Obviously, RVs are residential. We're not bringing any additional commercial activities. The marina is already a significant marina, and it is a lot of movement in a marina. There is no gas, no marina store, or anything like that. It's specifically just a seasonal type marina. And the RVs just were really meant to complement that without creating a commercial environment. And that's the intent of these 5 sites right now. And I think these letters came out, and obviously both neighbors are on the call, but these letters came out initially when we had an additional 10, I believe, or 9 sites up on top of the hill, which were much closer to the residents that look over this property onto the Carnegie Bay. And since after we had that initial meeting, I've met with the owners and we removed those based on their comments because it was almost impossible to screen them. And right now it's a big green open space and it's on top of that hill right here in the bottom of the page that you're seeing. We had 9 more sites shown there. We've actually removed those completely because it was going to be impossible to screen. We had the neighbors having concerns about screening and location. So that's why I removed those and went back to just what we've had the past couple of years up front. But I think with what we're trying to do with Paul's property is improve it, not only just for the RVs, but just in general for screening that entire parking lot from the marina. And the chain link fence was really, like I said, a request from him just to help as a barrier line for, any people wanting to potentially cross that property. But it's a good 6 or 8, it's a good 10-foot drop off there from the property onto our property. Where there's a drainage ditch that's kind of shared on both properties, takes water from both properties out to the river. So there's some back and forth with water there, and I hopeful that the screening that we show, no matter what, the RVs or not, will really create a great separation between the two. More again, commercial property more than a residential, but the whole idea of this marina is serving your person that has a boat there all season and an RV there that's all season. So that's important to note that these are rented by the season, which you get a little bit more ownership out of that in people that come back every weekend to their RVs. And it worked really well last year. I don't think there was any complaints with the 4 RVs that were there last year. And I felt like it went well. So that's why we're trying to get a permanent thing in place and try to satisfy the neighbors here. So.
Is there anybody else, Andy?
Yes, there are at least one other neighbor. And if you need to unmute, it's star 6.
So I am one of the neighbors. You know, I of course have concerns that it is, you know, a residential area. You know, I have concerns that if we have 4 or 5, that leads us back up to the 9 that we have later. I have concerns about the gravel driveway. The RVs, when they go up it, they tend to just be very loud on the gravel in terms of their noise level. You know, I am well aware that it's a marina, but I feel like as we're starting to talk about some of the screening or some of the things that we're remedying right now, that we're remedying things from a project that happened 2 years ago. So I'm just concerned as we start a new project, you know, how it will be in terms of trying to remedy any issues that then resolve, because my understanding is that, and not to speak for Paul Smith, but, you know, in terms of screening this parking lot or screening it from the RVs, you know, that's from the original project in terms of the marina. So I just have concerns of things being done in an appropriate amount of time. And I, of course, have, you know, concerns about, as Andy mentioned, you know, with the campground, that it is, you know, noisy, you know, what kind of lighting is going to be used, quiet hours, and that the town considers the 5 factors. But you know, I'm the neighbor at the front of the driveway at the entrance.
George, you got to leave. You're muted, George. But if you need to leave now, go ahead. We still got a quorum of 6, don't we, Andy?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Hey, this is Paul Smith. I'd like to comment a couple things on Mike, and I'd actually like to share a screen if I could. Let me see if I can here.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
I think this will do it. So this is where Mike was talking about. This is the 200-foot setback, okay? Can you see my cursor or not?
Yes.
Okay, so right now the proposal is for the RVs here to here, which is pretty close to where there's distance in here. They can fit 3 RVs in here, this area. They can fit 1 over here. That's 4. Maybe they don't get their 5th because they don't want to block the ramp that they put in a new ramp that they put in a couple years ago. But that would meet the setback. This is a 200-foot setback from the people over here. It's 200 feet setback over here. And there's now a little barn over here that will actually provide some screening for these neighbors. And going back to this fence, I said I wanted a fence. And that's what Mike said, well, they probably won't go for a solid one. Will you go for we walked down and looked at it. Will you go for a chain link? I'm not crazy about it. They're going to put in a solid fence down here because this is right along my property line. But I also have had some water drainage issues up in here that they're trying to now clarify, because all this area was raised up about 15 feet with dredging and other things that's affecting my property. So all I'm asking for is let's go with the current zoning. If they want to have 2 or 3 RVs in here, their homes are over in here. They can look at them. I don't need to look at them on my direct line of sight off my deck. And there is noise. We had dogs out here last year. The dogs were barking early in the morning. You know, that's something with my windows open with no screening. Everything echoes through. And the wind blows, all this noise comes in my direction. At least this gives me a little more buffer. And I don't think they want to have this in their front yard. They want it in my front yard. So, you know, and as Lily indicated, I've been trying to work on screening and this drainage issue for a couple years, and I'm grateful that they're coming around and negotiating with us. I want this to happen because it has to happen because all this area is less than 50 feet off my property line, which any RV, any trailer can be parked. And that's just the normal zoning is 50 feet, RVs 200. And you know, all this area is now gravel. There's no trees. Carnegie Bay Marina has hundreds of trees that were planted. This was all clear cut over the last couple of years. It really isn't aesthetically pleasing for a giant parking lot. Now we add RVs, and it's just a giant echo into the house every time they drive down or anything. So that's kind of where I'd like to see is let's stick to the current zoning. Let's keep our property values up. They have plenty of access to rent their 100 slips. They only rented probably 10 or 12 last year. That's an additional 200,000 if they rented their slips. They don't need to worry about the 4 or 5 RVs. They can have an RV in this space in the dock. They can have an RV. There's 2 boat docks. You can have 2 RVs, two boat docks, an RV, and you can put an RV in here. There's no reason they have to be right next to my property line. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'd love to, you know, I want to see them successful. I actually gave them business their first week they're open. I gave them business last year. I want to see a successful marina, and I want to work with them, but I also want to protect my investment. This is my single largest investment I've had in my life. I've worked 30 years to get it. I don't want to see it go down, and I don't want to have to worry about neighbors or you know, transient people in and out. So thank you, and I appreciate your time. Have any questions for me?
Well, I'm gonna get it back with.
Yeah, Paul, go ahead.
Go ahead. Someone else trying to talk?
No, you go ahead. I'm all right. It was Mike LaSalle. I'm okay. You're okay. I'm good.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, I've got a question, and that is, do they allow campfires with the RVs? And I say that because if you've ever been to any of the campgrounds, the first thing people want to do is get a fire going. And if you're close to residential properties, having constant fires in that is not particularly nice. I wonder if anybody raised it as an issue.
That's another issue, and it's up to the local municipality to either permit it or deny it.
Yeah.
But this board, the county planning board, does not have the authority to reject these properties, this project. It's the applicant is applying to the town for a special use permit, and I think we have to return it to the town in that fashion and point out the obvious contraventions to their existing zoning and put the emphasis right on their zoning board of appeals, whether they're going to grant the special permit or not. Is that acceptable, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, the town campground standards don't mention anything about campfires. It's certainly a good question.
Well, you can add it back. But again, my concern is that we have to address the issue of the ZBA issuing or denying a special use permit, or not special use, but a, what do they call it? Yeah, special
area
use
variance
permit.
and a special use permit.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to make a motion then that reluctantly, this is a project of local concern to be returned to the town for their action to either grant or deny the special use permit and or the variance. Someone going to give me a second?
I'll second.
Deb, okay. Are there any questions or additional comments there on the motion? Oh, okay. Motion made and seconded then. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Do we get 6, Andy?
I think so.
Okay. All right. I guess George is left then. Okay. Yeah, I still see 6 of us. Okay. All right.
Well, Art Gaddam,
Motion-
I don't know if you realize that, so that may add one.
Excuse me? Who's that? Art?
Art.
This is Art Gaddam.
Yes.
Oh, good.
So I
Okay,
didn't-
you're on the phone.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'm here.
All right, good. Okay. All right, well, thank you all for your comments, and it's going back to the local board now to make sure you get your comments into them and attend their hearing or whatever.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank
Appreciate
you.
your time.
Okay. So we're moving on to 6, Andy.
Yes, thank you. I'm just trying to grab it back. Does this look okay to you?
What do you got? Town of Clayton? Yes.
Yes,
But it's a town map. It's not a plot plan yet.
I know. Yep. Well, if it doesn't change, let me know. So this is in the town of Clayton. It's the Boathouse Marine. They're proposing a storage building in right down from the village. Everyone see the aerial?
Yep.
Okay. So we saw this as a site plan review a month or two ago, and now they're still going to do the project, but they want to build it closer to Carrier Lane. So then in doing that, they need an area variance to be closer. So it's going to be set back 25 feet instead of the required 50 feet. And so this is Carrier Lane here. I took this the other day without the snow. And you can see there's a house right here, but this is another property nearby. But there are some houses up on Carrier Lane up high as well. So they're moving the building to help with their views, I guess. So this is the closest house, and it'll be close to that. It'll be closer to that house. This is the lay of the land here. And this is the rendering we saw last time. It was black and white. Now it's in color. But generally, this is the design of the building and the trees and that along. So this was the original drawing. Showed it 50 feet from Carrier Lane. Now the new drawing shows it 25 feet, so it's closer. And we're just reviewing the variance part of it. And so I only identified the comment about area variances, how they need to consider the benefit to the applicant, weigh that against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the community using the 5 factors for area variance as stated in New York State town law. So that's what I had on that one.
When we approved the site plan, did we make any mention to the fact that was not going to meet the setback standards?
So at the time this is the original drawing, that it was meeting it back then.
Oh, okay.
So this proposal, they're moving it forward closer to Carrier Lane, which necessitates the area variance. But at the time they were going to meet the setback, we didn't have any variance comment.
Okay.
So.
All right, it's another one we're going to have to send back to their ZBA.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments concerning the project?
Okay,
No.
so the next one is also in Clayton.
Wait a minute.
Proposed by Nathan J. Finney.
Andy, hold it.
Oh, sorry.
We got to do this one separately. The next two are by the same applicant in the town of Clayton. So I'll make a motion that this project, number 6 there, is project of local concern only, to be returned to the applicant with our comment concerning the area variance. Motion made. Cliff is raising his hand. Good. That was a second rather than a comment, right, Cliff? Okay. All right. Motion made in second. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Okay. Carried. Now, Andy, the next two are again the same applicant, and then
Yes,
again a project and a variance.
yes. So Finn's Auto Body is proposing an addition to their body shop, and they're just east of the village on County Route 3 here. And this is the existing building. It's right across from Ciro Recreation Park in Clayton. And we're seeing it because it's along County Route 3. So the body shop is here, and they're going to put an addition here in this area and widen their driveways. So this was the site the other day. This is that one, looks like a smaller driveway, but it's going to become wider. And this is the overall building, and the addition will go this way, away from us in the drawing. This is the other side of the building where the larger or wider entrance is. That will become wider as well. And after I told County Highway, they paid them a visit, and they're working with County Highway now on this project. So here's the site plan, and the orange is the existing building. The pink are the new addition. And you can see that the driveways are going to be widened in both cases. So this one will be 32 feet wide, and this will be 36. And they're moving their leach field, which was here or here. It was back here, and now it's going to be over here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't catch that.
Okay, go ahead, Andy.
Okay, so they're showing some plantings here and here. There is a neighboring house. Most of the other land is, town of Clayton and the park, and I think this is a commercial building of some kind. So they will add gravel as well around the building. So our comments. Oh yeah, so this variance is to be 100 feet from the center line. They're only going to be about 62 feet, almost 63 feet. But they're only getting a little bit closer than before. So as far as the special use permit, the County Highway Department work permit is required for widening the driveway accesses and for the potential increased runoff impacting the county road. Landscape buffering should be provided to screen nearby residents to the east. With the increase in impervious surface, drainage infrastructure should be provided to limit stormwater runoff impacting neighboring properties in the county highway. And lastly, if interior storage reaches capacity, outdoor storage of vehicles yet to be repaired should either be buffered or screened from view or kept behind the facility. Regarding that, these cars here were going to be repaired, so they were, smashed and dented. But I'm told in the application that this structure has room for those cars to be stored inside. So I'm less concerned about that, but still I thought it was worthy of a comment. And then for the variance, same thing as the others, consider the benefits of the applicant and so on. That's what I had for this one.
Anybody got questions or comments concerning it? Okay, again, staff has made recommendation that these are projects of local concern and to be returned to the town for their action of the ZBA. Motion made and second. Do I get a second?
I'll second.
Charlene, okay. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Was there a no back there? No, I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the next one, in the village of Clayton, It's proposed by Wilbert Wall Jr. of French Creek Marina. He's proposing a shopping center. And we reviewed this last month or recently, but they did not identify a variance that they needed. So now they're going for the variance on the setback. So
Andy?
Yes?
We're getting an echo.
I know that. I think it's someone else. My computer is muted.
Okay.
So someone else has got it in their computer and their phone. So it's got to be one or the other.
It's better now.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. So this should look familiar. This is that shopping center, French Creek Marina, and it's set back 60 feet from the right of way. And in this particular zone in the village, it's required to be 100 feet. The zone is the neighborhood residential special use zone. So nothing is changing from what we saw like a month or two ago. And so this is just something they have to do to cite the project. So I didn't identify anything other than the usual comment, which is the area variance comment, which we've been hearing today quite a bit. So any
We
questions?
didn't notice that when we approved it the first time, Andy?
No. So what happened was the zone that it was quoted to be in was incorrect, and the setback in that zone is different than what it is now with this correctly worded zone. So no, we didn't see that.
Okay, but so the town or the village brought that to our attention then, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they sent it to us, so yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Again, this is a little easier one. I'll make the motion that this is a project of local concern only. Second, please.
Second, Lisa.
Second by Lisa. Thank you. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Okay.
So the next project is by Clayton DG LLC, which is better known as Dollar General. They're proposing a Dollar General on Grave Street and State Street. The property fronts on both of them. And it's right behind the community bank in the village. Now, we're only seeing the area variance for signage and frontage. So I assume we'll see the site plan or whatever it is relatively soon. But you can see there are homes on Graves Street. This is Graves here. And the access will be off of Graves. And there will be a sign here and a sign here, which we'll see in a second. So the sign variance is for square footage of signage. They're proposing about 59 square feet of signs and 32 is allowed. So now the signs will consist of 2 monument signs. They are proposing to be 8 feet high. The limit on monument signs is 6 feet. So that's a variance from 6 to 8 feet. Then this other sign is on the building facade, which is lit by these external lights. That's kind of nice. This is the site photo I took the other day. So this is Grave Street, and you can see the property here, and that's Community Bank, and a home across State Street. Then this is showing what right now is the driveway for the site. It'll be shifted a little bit, but generally that's where it is. And then the building will be kind of, I guess, dug out of the hill a bit. Then this is the photo from State Street, otherwise known as Route 12. So the sign will be somewhere along here. So part of the property comes out here, but the access will not be on State Street. So here's the site plan. I realize it's only an air variance, but the two monument signs, one is here, fronting on State Street. The other will be here on Graves. And then the other sign will be on the building facade there. And the frontage on Grave Street is surveyed to be 187 feet, and they're required to have 200. So those are the two variances needed, and this is in the industrial zone in the village. Any questions?
Yeah, at least these people identified the variance before they built the building.
Yes.
Nice of them. Okay. I'll make the motion that this is a project of local concern to be returned to the local agency. Is there a second? John? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Moving right along to an application and a variance.
Yes, the next few are done by Sarah, so I'll get out of this.
Okay. Go to it, Sarah.
Okay, let's see. How's that?
We can see the next slide, so maybe swap the screen or something. That's good.
Okay.
We got a town map up there now, yeah.
Camellia, okay. This is a site plan and area variance application for Overhead Door Company. It's for the reconstruction of the Overhead Door Company building located at 25223 New York State Route 3 in the town of Pamelia, right down there in the bottom corner. The property, the site is located just northeast of Seaway Rental on the north side of Route 3, just beyond Water Street where it comes in. The site is surrounded mostly by industrial and commercial land uses. The site is zoned commercial, which allows what the town is calling large product retail with site plan review. And the variance request is to reduce the side yard setback. So this is a photo of right here in the middle is where the building used to be. It was destroyed by fire, I believe, last year. And again, this would be its driveway over here. And then the building was right here. And they're basically going to build it in the pretty much the same location that it was. So the site plan is flipped, I'm sorry. Route 3 is over on the left side of the screen. Here you see the property is this long, narrow one in the middle. The site is accessed here off of Route 3. There's like 2 parking spaces in the front. There'll be, I think, 13 parking spaces in the back. This pink area here is the proposed building. It is 6,000 square feet. And as I said before, it's going to be located in approximately the same location as the one that burned. There will be a showroom, offices, and a workshop area. Way in the back here of the site, in the rear, there are some federally regulated wetlands. And the variance request was to reduce the side yard setback up here. However, just to point out, the front yard setback will be 66 feet to the center line of Route 3, and the code requires 90 feet. And on the side yard setback will be 9 feet while the code requires 12 feet. So there really is 2 variance applications, or there should be 2 variance applications. And this is an elevation plan the applicant submitted. It appears that the front would be like a plaster, a little pop out here. There's this cultured stone veneer on the lower half, and on the other side there'd be metal siding. As far as comments go, we said the highway work permit is required from New York State DOT because DOT would like to address driveway width compliance with them. And a building permit is required from Jefferson County Codes Department. And in reviewing the area variance, the local board should consider the benefit to the applicant as weighed against the detriment to health, safety, and welfare of the community using the 5 factors for an area variance as stated in New York State town law. For local comments, we said the local board should ensure that site drainage will not negatively impact the federally regulated wetlands at the rear or Route 3 across the street or to the front. And then the referral submitted is for site plan review and an area variance for reduced side yard setback, as I already mentioned. There was no variance application submitted with the referral. So the plan also appears to depict the need of a variance for reduced front yard setback as well. The local board should ensure the applicant applies for all the area variances that are required in order to process them through the ZBA. Any questions on that one?
No? Okay.
Okay, so do we want to do a motion on that one?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wait, the applicant is here. Did the applicant or his engineer want to speak?
No, Mike LaSalle's here. I don't have anything to add. I think that was good. But we did add some dark sky compliant wall packs, so it looks like that made it into the package, and I think it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, thanks.
No, we're good too. We don't have any comment.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. Motion, I'll make the motion that these are projects of local concern with comments concerning the variances to be returned to the local applicant. Your second?
Yep, good.
Good.
I'll second.
Stand up. Okay,
Right.
good. Motion made and seconded. Any comments?
Who seconded that
All those-
motion?
Excuse me? What, sir?
Who seconded it?
Cliff.
I did.
Cliff did. All right.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, this will go back to the applicant then, sir. Okay,
Okay,
moving right along.
moving right along. Now we have Town of Watertown. We have a site plan review to open a restaurant in the former TGIF building, which is located at 21890 Town Center Drive in the town of Watertown. It doesn't really show the roads out here, but it's pretty much across the street from Sam's Club and Super Walmart. Here we have New York State Route 3. We've got the Sam's and Walmart on that north side. The project is actually, I believe it's called Lot 2 of the Town Center Plaza. It's shaded in light blue. So we have the former TGIF restaurant is here. This is the building that Verizon is in. And this other building is where Panera Bread is currently. Over here you have Old Navy and you have Kohl's in the back here and Target way to the bottom of the page. And Texas Roadhouse would be over here, not shaded blue. So here we have a close-up of it. You can see the Verizon building, and this is TGIF over here towards the right-hand side of the highlighted parcel. Here we have some photos. This is what it looks like from Route 3, looking straight across at the old TGIF. And this is just a view further down on Route 3. You can see Kohl's in the background and a lot of parking is right here. So the site is zoned neighborhood commercial, which allows restaurants, so site plan review. And as I think I said before, the project involves relocating Panera Bread into the TGIF building. And Panera Bread is in Town Plaza already. They're just going to relocate just a little bit to the north. This new restaurant will be is 4,700 square feet. And there will be construction of 2 drive-through lanes right here going along the side of the building. And there'll be new building facades. The front entrance currently is up here. It faces the north elevation. It faces Route 3. And the front door is going to be relocated over here because this old front door is going to become a pickup window. As you go through the drive-through, you'll pick up your food at that door.
Can't see your pointer.
Can't see my pointer. Okay.
Got it?
Pointer.
Right.
Okay, can you see the pointer now? Hello?
Hello? What? Yeah.
Oh, can you see the pointer?
There's a little red dot bouncing around on the
Yeah.
building. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the front door was up here on the north side, and that is going to be relocated down here to the west side. The old front door is going to become like a drive-through window. That's where you pick up your food, because the drive-through lanes, there's 2 of them. They're going to loop around here. There's menu board signs, and then you place your order. There's going to be future canopies over where you place your order. And then these 2 drive-through lanes funnel into one, which is very typical of restaurants around here. And then you pick up your food right here, and then you can exit. There will also be, these 2 drive-through lanes can accommodate at least 18 cars if they're queuing or if they're backed up. The on-site circulation for the site is in a counterclockwise direction, like from down here all the way around over here. The existing parking of the site will be reconfigured to allow for the drive-through lanes, and it'll allow diagonal parking down at the bottom and diagonal parking up towards Route 3. There's also proposed mobile order pickup spaces. There is this area right here adjacent to the new front door. This will be an outdoor patio dining area. And a trash enclosure is proposed right here along the south side. And the site plan is well landscaped even today, and as indicated on the site plan. The applicant states that construction will begin this summer and should take about 6 months. Here's the elevation from the north side as seen from Route 3. You can see the new pickup window. That's about where the door used to be. And you'd be driving around here, pick up your food, and then leave. And then this is the west elevation. This shows the new front door. And behind this little wall, this would be the, out here would be the outdoor dining and patio area. As far as comments go, New York State DOH review is required for the restaurant. A building permit is required from Jefferson County codes. For local comments, we said the local board should ensure the applicant provides adequate directional signs to enhance on-site circulation. And the local board should consider requiring a crosswalk connection. Let me go back here. So there is a sidewalk right here along this entrance frontage road, whatever you call this, interior road. So we were saying that they should provide a sidewalk connection between the parking that's proposed over here and the restaurant, and another, at least a crosswalk, and then another sidewalk connecting from this sidewalk on that access road. Let's see, right here. So some type of connection. To get people, if staff or employees are parking back here, you want to get them to the restaurant safely to cross the drive lanes or to come this way. Somehow they need some type of direction, and then the other parking up here. Any questions on that one?
Nobody's asking
I
for
think
a
the
variance
applicant's
or anything?
representative is here too.
Someone else gonna? Sarah, is someone else talking?
There was somebody from CORE, I think, or representing CORE from Bergman on the phone. Are they still here?
Yep, I'm still here. It's Andy Hart with
Oh.
Bergman. I think Carly Hansen from CORE is still on too.
Yes, I'm on as well.
Do you guys have anything to add?
I do not.
I do not either.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No variances for this one, huh? How novel.
No?
Okay, I'll make the motion. This is a project of local concern with the comments to be returned to the applicant. This is an easy one. Second, please. Charlene? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now this will go back to the applicant for their final review that way. The last one.
Okay, that's me also.
That's you also. Okay.
Okay, now we are in the village of West Carthage. This application is for a special use permit for a proposed gas station to be located at the northeast corner of Bridge Street and South Broad Street. Bridge Street is New York State 126 in this area, and South Broad Street would be New York State Route 26. So here we are. Can you see my pointer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is Bridge Street going up here, which is 126, and this is South Broad Street, which is 26. You have the surrounding land uses are mostly commercial. We have like a Dunkin' Donuts over here, a Walgreens across kitty corner diagonal. This is McDonald's, and this is another gas station across of Bridge Street. There are single-family residences right here, and there's single-family residence on this other side on South Broad. This corner parcel here, which is like cut out of the site, this is DOT right away. This is just zoomed in to show you that there are residential property right there. You can see the rest of the site. This is a Google image, and it shows the old gas station that was on site right here. And this two-story wood frame house. And here you can see the gas station again and the little building back here. So this stuff is going to be demolished, but the two-story home will stay in this proposal. Here we have it. The gas station is demolished. This is a photo from last week. There's still a garage back there, but you can see the two-story wood frame house way in the background there. That's going to remain. Here you can see the little DOT right-of-way chunk in the corner that's there. I don't know what the deal is on this trailer. It's not part of the project, but it is on the property, or it was last week anyway. Here you can see it a little bit better. They look like they're demolishing buildings right now, or they have been doing some grading. This is the house that's going to remain, and this house is on the applicant's property. So, so the site is zoned Central Business District, which allows gas stations with a special use permit. The site used to include 4 separate parcels, which supposedly have been merged into one very recently. And the site will be accessed by 2 entrances, one on Bridge Street and one on South Broad Street. The one on South Broad Street is an entrance only, so you can only enter the gas station, and you can only enter from the east, like if you're coming from Lowville, you could enter. You cannot come from, say, Fort Drum and make a left into this entrance. There's going to be signage that tells you not to do that. Apparently, this little agreement here, or this little design, is a result from the applicant having conversations with DOT, and that's what DOT wanted because this driveway is very close to the intersection. There is an existing sidewalk along the applicant's property and along this corner. They had proposed to improve the sidewalk or add it where it's missing, so it all kind of flows. There are two canopies proposed, one that's going to be parallel to Bridge Street and one that's going to be parallel to South Broad Street. Each canopy has 8 pumps, so 16 pumps total. And the proposed store is right here. This is going to be 3,572 square feet. At least 19 parking spaces are identified up here and over here to this side. Oh, the little orange thing there is that existing house I showed you. That's going to remain. The trash enclosure is proposed right here, the little pink thing. There is a landscape buffer proposed along the east side of the property. This consists of 10 spruce trees. The site plan indicates that these canopies meet the front yard setback, which would be off of both streets, while the project narrative states otherwise on this canopy over here by Bridge Street. The site currently drains towards the east. There is a dry swale proposed along South Broad Street portion right there. And the rest of the site is going to drain towards the east right here, where there is a proposed 20-foot wide drainage easement. And this drainage easement continues on towards Liberty Street, which is just down here a little bit, just off the page. There's also going to be 3 catch basins on site, but they're not shown on this plan. They were shown on the grading plan. For comments, we say highway work permit from DOT is required for the accesses onto the state highways. A building permit is required from Jefferson County codes. The tanks shall be in accordance with DEC bulk storage of petroleum standards, and the site plan should depict the location of the tanks, the fuel ports, and the bollards. A stormwater pollution prevention plan is required since total disturbance is greater than 1 acre. For local comments, the local board should consider the overall intensity of the proposed development, like, for example, the number of gas pumps requested, in relation to the lot size. In particular, the board should address the following potential impacts. The lot coverage for the proposed structure is about 22%. This is because the village defines lot coverage as just what's underneath buildings. So it does not include total impervious surfaces. The local board should consider the total amount of impervious surfaces, which is about 97.7%, and how it may impact offsite drainage. The increase in surface runoff should be reviewed by the village engineer. On-site circulation with the 2 fueling stations may be tight, especially for fuel delivery trucks. The site plan should depict truck maneuvers. In addition, there may be traffic conflicts between the vehicles parking in the front of the store and those utilizing the gas pumps parallel to South Broad Street. And the local board should ensure adequate signage prohibiting exiting onto Broad Street is provided. And the local board should require proof that the 4 lots have been combined into one prior to issuance of a zoning permit. And finally, the site plan depicts a minimum front yard setback of 40 feet along both public roads, while the project narrative states the front yard setback is 39.7 feet for the canopy closest to Bridge Street. An area variance may be required. Any questions on this one? I know that's a lot of information, but
Sarah, is a special use permit the same as we would call it site plan approval?
yeah, basically.
Okay. You know, we're making an awful lot of comments if it's not site plan approval. But okay.
Well, in this case, I guess it sort of encompasses the site plan
Okay.
review.
I think you got a good comment there, Sarah, with respect to fueling. It's going to be very, very tight.
Okay. And also the engineer is on the phone if we have any questions for Mr. LaSalle. Anything else?
Where does the fuel oil truck park while it's delivering oil? Where?
I don't know because tanks aren't depicted on the site plan. That was one of my comments.
Okay.
Right. We'll get those added. This is Mike LaSalle. I will get those added. But you see, I show a fueling truck pulling in. They can come in off of Bridge or Broad to the site. And then we have actually quite a bit of room in the interior space where she's at right now. The idea is that truck would pull in and pull along that edge. You can see where he's pulling in now. If he were to pull a little bit further, he's not blocking anybody. And it does seem that there's not a ton of room. But remember, these canopies are 30 foot. The actual pump bay is only 10. So if you can, look at that number between the curb and that canopy where the cars would be pulling through, there's almost 18 feet there to the canopy, but then there's another 10. So that's 28 feet from the pump island to if you move your red dot over to the building, Sarah, the main building, that number, that's about 17 and a half feet. But plus 10 more feet before you even get to the bollard for the gas pump. So there's 28 feet there of clearance through that area. And so even with a car at that location, there should be, almost two-way traffic perfectly clear there. And then again, we have 15 feet on the outside. So if a car's driving through to go pull into a station, it's tight, but we've played with a couple maneuvers and feel that if there is conflict, it would be on-site only and not affect any of the entrances at all, where they would be pulling through to pick a spot to go. And if they can't find a spot to go, they're going to be able to pull right around the end and come back the other way.
Mike, can you explain where the fuel tanks will be located?
I'll have to talk to the owner. The vendor has been looking at that. My goal would be to put them, they're pretty much going to be in the center with a filling station. Yeah, in this area, maybe down towards where that truck is a little bit more, but then the fueling caps would be along that, westernly edge of the page right now, right where you are. Just a little bit further along that curve line would be my intention, where they're, mostly out of traffic. And if a truck pulls up, he has full access. But we'll have to work with the delivery guy and the vendor for their fueling people, and we'll get that out of the plan for the town, or I'm sorry, for the village.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for Sarah or the applicant? If not, I'll make the motion that this is a project of local concern with all of these comments to be returned to the village for whatever action they need to take. I have a second? Somebody? Cliff
second.
reluctantly. Cliff, attaboy. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. A busy day today, folks. Thanks for coming in. Mike and or Andy, any additional comments, words of wisdom, or anything else for us?
Not really. I think we may have to do in person next month, but Mike will keep us honest on that.
Okay. So we all set then, Andy?
I think so, yes.
Because Lisa's chomping at the bit here.
Yeah.
Okay, Lisa, go to it.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Any opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank you.
good. Thanks, folks. Appreciate it.